Hi, today we've got Phil Strazzulla from NextWave Hire. Hey, Phil, thanks for joining me, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
For sure. So, Phil, tell me a little bit about your role at NextWave and tell me a little bit about NextWave.
Yeah, sure. So I'm the CEO of NextWave Hire. I founded this company when I was at Harvard Business School. Basically, I was getting my MBA there, and most people in business school are trying to change careers, and a lot of my classmates were doing just that. One of the recurrent conversations on campus was most companies have very generic job descriptions, career pages with really nothing on them. And so essentially as a candidate, I'm left with Glassdoor to try to understand what's it like to work at a company. And Glassdoor is a great resource for candidates, but it is undoubtedly biased. And it's also hard to filter for the information that you care about as a candidate. Meaning if I'm a salesperson, I want to know, how do you celebrate the wins? What's the career path like? Why do people buy this product, et cetera? You can't get that on Glassdoor. So I saw that most candidates want a really in-depth, authentic look in life at a company. And so I started NextWave with a friend of mine. And what we do is we have a software solution that collects hundreds of employee stories about what's it like to be a salesperson, veteran, what's it like to work in the Boston office versus London, et cetera. Stories directly from your employees in video and text and pictures. And then we use that to enhance your careers page, your social presence, put into marketing automation campaigns to passive candidates, employee advocacy, basically get the word out about your company at that top of funnel sort of talent acquisition.
Very cool. Very, very cool. So, you know, I'm thinking, wow, what a wonderful tool, because I've used Glassdoor, and yeah, you get the reviews and whatnot, but you don't get a complete comprehensive picture, as you mentioned. So talk to me a little bit about the successes you guys have already had. Sounds like you said, hey, you folks started it how many years ago?
2 years.
2 years ago. And so in this 2 years, what exactly has NextWave accomplished, NextWave Hire?
Yeah, so in terms of customers, we've got companies that are as small as 50 people and as big as Nissan, Citizens Bank, Fortune 500 companies, and basically everywhere in between. So that, from a business perspective, super high level is something that we're proud of. From an individual kind of case study level, a lot of companies struggle with, how do we tell our story? How do we get information? Some companies start an employee blog and ask employees, hey, can you write a 600-word blog post for me? And it's like pulling teeth, right? Our solution makes it super easy to scalably get content. So one of the last companies that we signed up, within the first hour of using NextWave, they had 100 employee stories, 100, which is just incredible.
Right.
They got a new careers page in 3 weeks. That's beautiful. That's branded. That's mobile optimized. Most talent acquisition folks don't actually have insights into how many people are going to our site, how many people are converting, where are they converting from, et cetera. We give them an awesome analytics package. We basically make them look like rock stars from a sort of high level, like branding perspective, like, hey, I built this awesome website.
Right.
And also on the back end, just being an analytical, strategic business leader within their organization. So those are the things we're really excited about. And in terms of, like really specific metrics around ROI, something that I love is we're increasing the conversion rate of the people that get to your careers page. So the average careers page, 10% of people are converting into applicants. And if you're paying per click on Indeed, you're buying LinkedIn postings, you're doing emails, however you're sourcing candidates, you have a cost per applicant. And because we have the right content, because we're telling the right stories, we've got mobile optimization, we've got beautiful landing pages specific to individual roles, we can increase that rate dramatically. And that dramatically decreases your cost per hire.
Right. No, that's really cool. So what does it cost?
So our pricing depends on how large the organization is, and then also what modules that you want. So it's pretty bespoke. We try to make it flexible because some companies, they just want to use our solution for content creation, and others, and this is what we recommend, want to use it for everything. They're basically top of funnel from a talent acquisition perspective.
Okay. And how many other companies are actually attempting to do or are doing something similar to what you folks are doing?
So from a software perspective, there's not that many companies out there. We certainly see an overlap in what we do with marketing agencies that might want to create a culture video for you or might want to redo your careers page. There's sometimes companies that come to us and they're thinking about, do we want to sponsor a page on a website like Glassdoor or Indeed or LinkedIn, or do we want to use your solution, or do we want to do both? Because realistically, there's not too much of an overlap there.
Correct.
But in terms of like pure play competitors, there's really nobody that's doing what we're doing, going after the same customer set.
It would make a lot of sense for Glassdoor to acquire you folks.
Yeah, maybe one day.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Okay, so, you know, I'm listening to this and I'm saying, okay, there are not a lot of competitors. You've got a unique product. It's highly effective from what I can tell, from what you're telling me, and I'm sensing. It's affordable from what I'm hearing. Did you give me any actual price tags in terms of what it does cost a company?
I didn't give you the actual price range. So
yeah, what does it actually cost?
Sort of like our minimum package would be in the $7K a year range.
Okay.
And then it goes up to six figures.
Depends on the size of the company.
It's very variable.
Yeah. I mean, that's still not bad at all. So very cool. I think, you know, the other things I would like to know is where does the product go from here? You know, the next couple of years, where do you see it heading?
Yeah. So we're thinking of a couple of different things. Basically, our sort of mission as a company is to enable businesses to thrive by attracting and hiring the right people, because we think that people are the key to success as a company. And so that's kind of our North Star. When we think about that, and we think about the candidate journey and what people are doing to research companies and having the right content in the right places, we think about amplifying reach through things like employee advocacy, social media, you know, doing smart things that marketers maybe are doing or salespeople are doing, but folks in talent acquisition aren't. And then I think just coming from a venture capital background, having an MBA, we're sort of have an analytical bent. And so much of what we do is very focused around ROI and being kind of data geeks and understanding that aspect of it, which is fairly different from a lot of the tools out there in the HR space. And many times a lot of the folks that we actually partner with and sell to, because I think a lot of people get into the people game because they have that sort of like emotional connection. And our platform allows them to augment their skill set with something that's highly, highly analytical.
Do you see additional features being built in then over the next 2-3 years as well from a technical perspective? Any new types of widgets that folks could make use of?
Yeah, so we've got a lot of new stuff that's coming out on a bi-weekly basis. Basically, we launch new features really rapidly. So one thing that we're experimenting with, we call Ask Me Anything. So it's essentially content marketing for recruiting, where one of your hiring managers or senior leaders within the company basically talks about, here's how I closed the last big account. Here's how I built this really interesting feature within our product suite, et cetera. And folks who are interested in those topics tune in, they get to ask questions. And then of course we try to convert those people into leads. So that's kind of a new thing that we've been experimenting with really in beta right now. And hopefully we'll make it to sort of the full product suite. The first couple of experiments have gone incredibly well.
Interesting.
So that's something that we're thinking about, in addition to just sort of, really increasing our marketing automation capabilities, our abilities to be that conversion engine on your own media. So controlling your careers page in a way that dynamically tries to get the right people to apply for jobs.
Right. Okay. Very cool. Well, I've learned a lot today, and I appreciate your time.
Definitely.
How does someone get a hold of you folks? I mean, what's the process? Should they reach out to you directly? To go to your website, fill out the contact form, spit out your website address, etc.?
Yeah, sure. So it's nextwavehire.com. You can email me, phil@nextwavehire.com or hello@nextwavehire.com. Yep. Someone's going to get back to you really fast.
All righty, man. Well, hey, I appreciate your time very much today, Phil. I learned a lot.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
For sure.